Welcome to the Cannabis Coffee Hour with your host, me, Rob Cantrell. Call your next of kin, cause we're gonna wing it. I know I've skipped an episode, and I'm trying to keep it on point. But life goes up and down and swerves around, and you gotta dodge. And right now, what I'm trying to do is marinate and coagulate and get my shit together in terms of the YouTube. Please subscribe to the Cannabis Coffee Hour YouTube, because that's where it's at, man. I got the full videos that I used to have Patreon, but I'm gonna just go full free YouTube. Just subscribe. It's at Cannabis Coffee Hour. YouTube now has nifty handles, so that's the main connect. So please plug in. Sorry to plug. It's not a thing, but we're gonna wing it here. I got some water. I got some cannabis. Like I said, it was nice to get into a rhythm of doing this, because it was a little bit easier. Like, I have to admit, it's really cold out. I just smoked, and I hadn't been smoking for a while. Like, I went, I was dipping and dodging, and I'm just working on a couple different projects that just take an intense amount of thought power. But so I just am curating. Like, I do think a lot of this stuff, until I get a team on, a lot of this stuff is just the curation, but I am very proud of the YouTube, not to plug again, but I am very proud of the YouTube, over the years. It's been 2 years, and a lot of it was during the pandemic. I just have to thank you, and I have to thank cannabis, and I have to thank the sun, and I have to thank the plants every day and all day. Like, it's cold out, but the sun is out, and I was outside. I have been just doing a lot of power walks. That's my thing. I don't like to run. I like a good treadmill. I'll definitely get on the treadmill, or what I like to do. What's that thing? I always talk about it. But I haven't been stoned for a while, so it's just like waka. But beautiful. For there, I gotta just step back and definitely enjoy it all, which is what I've been trying to do and have been doing. Once you concentrate on the small things, like I was checking out this artist. Like, I saw her exhibit. She's this famous Yayoi Kusama, The Great Art Explained. But I was checking her stuff out, and she's like this artist, dope artist. If you ever, her tickets were so hot in DC, and my mom and got to see her there, and I remember getting her the tickets, and it was really wild, because this lady, she just everything's polka dots. Everything is all her art, and it's very complex and trippy, and sometimes it's painting, sometimes it's not. It's mostly a style and an aesthetic applied to everything. That's how art goes. It kind of grows and grows and then expands. Everything's expanding. We're all expanding right now. This podcast is expanding. Expansion into the unknown, but back around the sun. It's a wild, wild gift, just to be alive and walking around and enjoying. I've been trying to eat healthy, so I gotta tell you, I'll tell you this, a good tuna fish, you gotta get the freshwater canned tuna fish, but and then the avocado mayonnaise, and then some pepper and some red onion, and I had that with some saltines. I had a bunch of saltines, and that was what I was hitting. But I have to say, it sounds whatever, but at the same time, it does give you a lot of clean, mean protein. I just think in this time and age, everything's like about health. Like coming out of the pandemic, like that's what I'm kind of zeroing in on. I got the pull-up bar, but I haven't been doing mad pull-ups. My new thing is just doing hangs. I just been hanging out on the pull-up bar, which has been a lot of fun, and it straightens out your spine. That's been my move, is like I'll meditate for 20 minutes, which I've been doing, and that's been getting easier. So I've been meditating in the morning, getting to do that after I stretch. And then doing the 20 minutes is kind of hard. Lately I just haven't been that hard on myself. I think everybody's that way coming out of this funky, wild, time. But at the same time, it's always been, definitely enlightening. And, if you get some sun on your face, that's the gig, man. I was watching this other video about the importance of just getting outside, and like the best thing you can do is get outside, not look directly at the sun, close your eyes, but just put your face up in there like a cat or a dog, and just like and soak up that vitamin D, just right into the noggin, right into the face, right. I like to get it right into the third eye, just right, and just let it get in there. I do feel it like burn out the funk in your sinuses, and just naturally, everything's naturally. We're all natural. I'm drinking Lava Zava. I got to the tail end, and I was gonna make either some chai tea or another Lava Zava, but my new move is just putting a little bit of water at the tail end just to make it last a little bit further in the afternoon. I was about to do some work, I've been working on these other things, and then I was like, I gotta do this podcast, gotta do it early. And then I got lost on YouTube. I started watching some turnstile videos and some, not too many, just 2. And they have this one video that's like 4 videos lined up. It's a mini movie, and I think that's dope. But just a little bit of music in the morning. I don't know how you do your music. I do YouTube. That's the thing. YouTube you use, when I'm writing or I'm checking the bullshit. But the algorithm is tricky, and I'm trying to steer away from like dark media, even if it's very entertaining. Like I do think like taking an outlook on how to handle social media. Shout out the Twitter meltdown. But I don't know, like they're tweeting about the Twitter meltdown on Twitter, which is a little odd. I just been posting my Instagram handle up there in case everything just go. Rob88 Cantrell is where I'm at. I did read something this morning while I was on the throne, aka the commode. I did read. I had this like self-awareness thing or self-help book or something. It was a magazine, but it was about like curbing it down on social media because it does heighten stress levels and depression in people that are on it too much. And especially if you go through all of them, like if you're on multiple platforms. I think that's what's happening. Like we're all figuring out this new age of like anything you want all the time on the entertainment end. And now in New York with the cannabis end, the dispensaries are everywhere. I mean, I'm still, eyeing up the dispensary market. Hopefully with this podcast growing and growing, there'll be so many, I'm planning a merch drop here soon. I think that's how the kids say it. But at the same time, you just eyeing the field and figuring out the voice. I've been mad making beats. Like my beat file is crazy. I find it really relaxing and fun. And a great way to like take a break from like writing comedy and stuff like that. Because everything gets burned out. There's that Lao Tzu saying, like, he's this philosopher, and if you sharpen your sword too much, it gets dull. If you do it too much, it becomes dull. I think that's just with everything. That's why the concept of letting go and just trying to get out of your ego, get it out of your head. That's the thing, is just getting out of your way. That's the title of this self-help audio. No, this is the Cannabis Coffee Hour. I need to talk about those turnstile videos more. Those guys seem like stoners. It seems like a positive vibe. That's what I do dig. I've been trying to gravitate just towards super positive energy. People like, even though there's a lot of people that are funny in the negative energy, but it's like, in these times and days, man, it's like, but things are turning around, and sometimes I think I just watch the news too much, and that's why I thank goodness cannabis is getting legalized and normalized. I think that's what's going to happen, It's the normalization. I mean, it's not my generation. It's the next generation and the next generation. And it seems to be getting more normalized because it kind of led to the mushroom thing opening up. And I do think even mainstream culture is more open even to mushroom treatment for certain types of mental illness and depression. This has been decades and decades of like wars and shit. And, this type of, just it's all about learning about the brain. That's what, the meditation thing is like. I read about like a 50-year-old dude's brain. You can make it go to like a 25-year-old's brain if you meditate. So that's where that gig is. That's where I'm like, oh yeah. And it's just a good way to relax and shut it off. I think, it's just becoming more and more needed with the amount of media, with the amount of choices. I mean, shout out Bitcoin. There's this big, I don't even know if I want to talk about these things, but I never got into crypto. I don't want to shoot it down too much. And like, who knows? Who knows anything? But my vibe just wasn't going there. So I just, you just go with your vibe. I'm not, I don't look to, I talk about, the only thing it is fucking hella creepy, It's like, anytime you talk about it, I get like 5 ads about it, or if I read an article about it, I got somebody on Instagram asking me, yeah, I still, it's tricky, man. It is tricky. But I do think it's going to push civilization towards more, nature way, more cannabis way, as I say, I don't think it's the end all to be all. I don't think everybody should smoke pot. But I do think it should be accepted into the culture. And I think it's already is. It's like, once, psychedelics moving. And I do think like, the thing is, I don't like even LSD. And I mean, I would if it's clean, I guess. I think, yeah, it's healthy to do a psychedelic trip for some people. Maybe that's what I need to do soon. I haven't done one in, years and years. But, so I would probably go with like fresh mushrooms somewhere. And then somewhere outdoors. And somewhere where I have a few days, just to process and maybe stretch it out a little bit. Walk around. Check out the new perspective. Try it on like a new pair of pants. But at the same time, I do think I get the same from meditation, because I do know that if you do, like, I think my theory is if you trip too much, you're bound to get to that bad, trip. And sometimes I could steer wrong, as all the stories have said, but I really think it's like where your energy level is, and I don't know. I don't know anything. That's one song that I dig. I think, no, Rancid, I think is that song. I don't know, I don't know nothing. Or it's not Operation Ivy, but I don't know. It's I don't know. It's called Nothing. I think Green Day. I know Green Day plays it in their set. I am a big Green Day fan, but I haven't been pumping them as much. You know what I have been playing over and over and over um, is George Thorogood. Um, what's that? The one that I have been just playing over and over again is it's not the one that you would think. Turnstile and George Thorogood. It's not one bourbon, one scotch, and one beer, which is a great song, and that's actually a John Lee Hooker song, which is like the original king of the blues. Um, what is that tune, man? I bet it's on my. Let's see here. Oh, there it is. Don't play the ad. Don't play the ad. Right on, Josephine, baby, right on. Right on. That's a oh man. Yeah, Right On Josephine by George Thorogood and the Destroyers. I think that's when I went down to Delaware. I was just like playing George Thorogood because I always thought it was kind of funny. Like anybody can do a Joe Biden joke and all that shit, but I wanted to talk about George Thorogood. But yeah, shout out to the Tower Comedy Festival. I don't know if I talked about it on the last podcast. I should have checked on that, but that was a blast and a half. Yeah, I don't think I talked about it yet. No, I had a blast. Shout out to the Tower Comedy Festival in Dewey Beach, Delaware slash Rehoboth. I did this great gig with Rory Scovel and Carmen Christopher, and it was sick. It was a sick festival. There were great comics there. Uh, yeah, Mateo Lane was there. Um, Shout out all these cats. But yeah, it was fun. I drove down in my in my Jeep, and I drove down, which was fun. But I put it into the GPS, Rehoboth Beach. This was wild, man. And so I got up early and I got out of the city. Like the thing about New York is if you're ever gonna drive in or out, go in the fucking morning, like really early. The rest of the time it's just fucking jammed up and super stressful to drive. So what I've learned is just go early and get the fuck out of Dodge. It's all about getting out of Dodge. If you want to leave, escape from New York, if you want to go fucking Snake Plissken out of this thing. So I was rocking like Snake Plissken on down to Dewey Beach, Delaware. I put it into the GPS. Man, I got my Spotify. You know, I shouldn't brag about Spotify. I was listening to Neil Young. He had some good points, but I do like it. Maybe there'll be some other. I do like. Maybe I'll switch over to YouTube Music. I do like YouTube. I listen. Like I said, I listen to a lot of. I could say fucking on my own. I listen to a lot of fucking music on YouTube. I think everybody does. My album's out on YouTube. Check it out. That's how I can get paid. The Cannabis Coffee Hour. No, the Pure Uncut Joy is my stand-up album, but that's not on Spotify. That's why I'm kind of weird. They took my stand-up down. The record label that I'm on is in a big dispute with them, but I do have my hip hop album. But that's self-release. I mean, that's my music album. I can't say it's full-on hip hop. It's just my vibe music. That's my music. But I have been having blast making some beats. But no, I wanted to talk about Dewey Beach, Delaware. When I put it in the GPS, I drove down and I was having a great day, man. I had the sunroof. It wasn't open, but it was kind of like open to the point where I can get the rays in, but it's not the wind. And it was sunny, and I had some great beats. I put some George Thorogood on there. I got some Grateful Dead. What's the Grateful Dead tune that I've been listening? I I've been listening to some Grateful Dead, but what I wanted to Google, and I guess I could do it. I need a miracle every day. That was the trippy part about the Grateful Dead. Is like, yo, bro, I need a miracle. They would sell out, and then these hippies would stand outside and ask for a miracle, and sometimes you would get they would get a great concert ticket. And that's how you would get in. I never did that, but I think I did know some people that did do that. Every day, it's just like every day there's miracles going on. I guess the song is "I Need a Miracle," and it's on Shakedown Street, which is a wild like disco hip album. Like it's power 70s. And their artwork on their albums are always so good. That's what's kind of trippy about it. And that artwork, it's like it seems like it's the same cat that did the artwork for the Janis Joplin album. Grateful Dead. Shakedown Street. Who did the artwork? I could talk about that forever. And then we'll go back to Dewey Beach talk. But I got off track, and then I just remembered the artwork. Yeah, the art is this like hipster jazz cat. Oh man, so good. The font, like if you ever look at their font, who did the artwork? Album cover. I'm gonna put in artist because I think it's the same. I do like graphic design, and I do love this font, and they use purple. Oh my god! Now and the Grateful Dead has a bunch of animation that's really wild. Like just they had great artists, all great artists, because they had all the weed and all the LSD. No, San Francisco just had. It still does. It's just if you want to create, the weather's great, the people are great. Shout out to the Grateful Dead and George Thorogood. But when I was driving down there, all of a sudden, like I was flying down, and then all of a sudden, I was like on this road that said I had to go, and it didn't show it on the GPS that I had to go over like on a boat. Like I drove my car onto a boat from New Jersey down to Delaware. But it cost $35. I was bummed, but it saved me like an hour and a half. They were like, well, you can go around. I guess I picked the fastest like you always do, but the fastest is you got to take your car on top of a boat. And all of a sudden, I'm just in my car and I'm floating on the water. And then you can go upstairs. And I have to say, it was a beautiful ride. And it was sunny. I posted it on my Instagram. Check out my I didn't post it, but maybe I'll put those slides up. I didn't take that many pictures when I was down there. I thought about it. And then I would pull away. You know, there was so much social, like, showbiz, like meeting the other comics, and then you're thinking about your set, and you're thinking about just getting to the show. And I just checked into the hotel. I do like to get to the gig sometimes the day before or really early. This time, you know, I got out of New York. I mean, you know, they don't let you check in till 3 anyway. So I got in and checked in at 3, and the hotel was amazing. They had a sauna. I did a sauna. I haven't done a sauna, and they had a saltwater pool. So in the morning after the gig, that was I just went full on with this, like, in their organic breakfast, they actually had banana chocolate milkshakes. On, like, their morning breakfast was a little bit better than the Holiday Inn joint. It was kind of, artisanal. But it was, I had like egg whites and spinach, and then I had like this banana chocolate thing that was absolutely delicious. The gig was dope, man. The show was packed. It was in this auditorium. It was like the downtown center of Rehoboth Beach. And I spent my 20s there, like, partying one summer. And I remember all the pizza places. They have this, shout out to Grotto's Pizza. All these pizza joints. I'm living in New York for, I guess since 2005. So it's now 17 years. Wow. Has it been that long? Yeah, I think New York, maybe I'm a New Yorker. I still don't really feel full on. But I did there with my pizza snobbery. But the pizza is really good, but I could tell it was really greasy. It was really like stuff you would really like if you were drunk and in your 20s. But they did have some, they had this, like, I'm really into the Mediterranean diet and I'm really into Greek places. So I did get, like, did I get lamb shawarma? No, I got falafel. And the falafel was okay. It was at the beach. Like, these guys were, it seemed to be kind of a throwback of, like, those old Euro places where the meat's kind of questionable. I used to eat there, but I don't know. I have to do some little bit more research on lamb. But I do know that it's, like, the best meat, and I think I'm going to have some for my birthday. Maybe I'll try to get some tonight. A rack of lamb. I'm going out to dinner, so I think I might have a little bit of lamb if they have it on the menu. I'm going to start looking for it. I'll let you guys know what it's all about. I never liked lamb chops, though, but maybe it was pork chops. Maybe Mom would make pork chops. I don't know if we had, sometimes, maybe. I don't know, maybe when you heard lamb when you're a kid, it's kind of, that is a nice animal. I have been communicating with my cat. I have to say, like, getting a cat, I'm becoming such an old lady, but getting a cat, my move is, like, we touch noses, and I can do it, like, I only do it, like, once in a while. Like, I don't scare that off, but it's like, she doesn't have another cat, so she's like, and yeah, we're buddies, but she's crazy, and she still goes after my yoga pad. Like, she'll just sneak in there and just go off on it. And then lately she's been dragging toys in here, and I literally, like, throw her toys like a tennis ball with a dog. Like, she's getting bigger and eating a ton right now. Like, she's now like a stocky teenager, and she's all muscular, cool cat. She just comes up on the bed and goes, pet me. I just pet her, and that's it. I haven't been doing crazy pull-ups. I've been doing hangs. I've been hanging out. Last night I did a show, and it was like, wasn't that, well, it was just like a spot at this comedy club. Shout out to the Eastville Comedy Club in Brooklyn, New York. I do pop in there from time to time, but it was kind of light because I think it just got cold. Like last night it's dropped to like 32. Like, you had to bring out the big parka. And New Yorkers aren't really that hyped on it. Like I said, like, it's been kind of sunny. I was just in Rehoboth Beach, and everybody was in their shorts, and it was sunny. Well, I can't say they were in their shorts, but it was sunny. I think I may have had long pants on, but maybe a t-shirt. Like, it was definitely long pants and t-shirt. And that was nice because it wasn't, like, this was the area that's, like, during the season is so jam-packed. Like, it's like Rockstar. T-shirt shops, bong shops, all the, as my mom would say, the gookie G, like, all the fucking bullshit. Just, Times Square, Cheesy Mall, where everything's for sale, and everybody's there, and everybody's stomping on each other's toes. But sometimes that energy's cool, but sometimes when you're looking at it from a beach aspect, it's not the best. But yeah, the town was kind of not empty because that place is still kind of dope. Like my first joke was like, oh, this is like the Hamptons of Baltimore, and it got a big laugh. And then I did some DC material, and it was that area, so it went over. It was just a lot of fun. Shout out to the organizers and all that. Check out the Tower Comedy Festival in Dewey Beach, Delaware next year. I'm sure they're going to do it again because it seemed like it was a massive success because they filled out a big auditorium like 4 or 5 times. I was like, Jesus. Stand-up is still getting, that's what I feel like. But it was light last night, but I had a good set. People are just ready to laugh. I'm going to post up some shows soon, but I'm still just, I'm marinating on new material. Like I am ready, after all of this to release a special. I don't know how or will I do it. I know I could do an audio album pretty easily if I want to. I can arrange that, but nowadays it's like I could probably do it all myself after doing my hip-hop album, my music album. So now, I'm kind of always dancing with DIY because I know in the long run it's just more money, and that's why I'm trying to stay healthy. Taking some zinc, doing the vitamin C, the emergencies here and there, but the day was great. We went out. I had a Caesar salad at late night. That's how I rock. I had an iced tea and a Caesar salad, and then I smoked a couple one-hitters, and went to bed. And we got a great night's sleep, and got up and had some breakfast, and then went for a sauna, and then swim. I sweated it out. And then I washed it out. And it was like a hot sauna, and it was so early, nobody was there, so I had it all to myself. And I just had it piping hot. It was just all steam. You're just in this room. And it just sweated everything out. And then it sweated the Caesar salad out in the show before. I only got to do, the lineup was packed. So they didn't want a super long show, and I agree. When there's more than 5 comics on the show, it just gets long. So my set was only they took care of me, but my set was only 10 minutes. But the crowd was so hot, I went, I was all over the map. But I don't want to talk about stand-up too much because I think that bores people. There's so many talk about the one thing about comedy is talking about comedy is not the funniest. But this gig was funny. I'll tell you what's always funny is stepping in dog doo-doo. And that's what happened. I was so happy the morning. I did this whole swim. I had my fresh shoes on. I got these new shoes. I had to buy some. My Solomon's popped open. They broke on me. I wonder if I could send them in. I don't know. It's hard to send in shoes. I do love me a good pair of Solomons, but their pulley system broke on me. So I got some old school running shoes, and they've been really working because I do have some high arches. But they in New York just kills me sometimes. But ever since I've been doing my 5 Tibetan stretches, knock on wood or whatever, I think I've just been stretching myself out a lot better. So I haven't had as many kinks and kanks of this granite big rock city that beats you up after a while. So I'm always stretching, drinking. I got my jug of water. I should drink a little bit of water here. Because I downed a whole thing. I got a can of Lava Zava coffee. Lava Zava, it gets you through. It's it's a good solid coffee, and it's already ground. I do like those old school coffee tins. I just dig them, and they got a good one. But I don't I don't want basic ass coffee. So it's nice, but it's it skips the steps of crushing the coffee beans, which I usually do. But sometimes you just want to run and gun. And so I got the grounds and I did that, but I just powered through it before the thing. And like I said, I was between. So I got a little bit of watered down coffee, but I also want to chug my shot out old school Nalgene bottle. I'm going to chug this bad boy down. Chug, chug, chug. Dude, killed that bad boy. Actually, everything feels better about me right now. You could have heard me on the mic. My nose was all kind of, because I kind of got the window open because I wanted to burn some herb a little bit more. But like I said, I got a little high before the show, and then it was tricky to start. But now, thanks for hanging in there. We're in the home stretch. And I could tell you what happened. Oh, I stepped in dog doo-doo. And I remember it. And I guess all the meditation, like, it was such a bummer when it happened. Because it was, like, kind of this crowded area. And then there was, like, this local, like, flag routine. I mean, it was nice, but it was like a local parade. But it was like I was trying to go to the beach and chill. And I know the part of the town. This is like the most busiest part of the little city area, which is awesome. This whole scene is just, it's boardwalk. It's everything you want. It's everything I dig. So I was so hyped to be there and do the show. And the show went great. The crowd was fucking awesome. And then I walked out and I had these new shoes on. And I swear I stepped right into the freshest, brand new doo-doo. And it was all in my running shoe. And and this dude pointed it out to me, and I did it. I knew there was the energy, just like, you just know. You just go, oh. And the dude went, ooh. And I looked at him and I go, ah. And I didn't get mad at him. I think maybe in my younger day I would have been like, because I hate when people in public, as much as I want to be on stage, I am a weirdo introvert. Like, I'm very happy alone sometimes. By myself in a hotel room. I love my friends and family all the time, all day, every day till the day is done. But sometimes you just need to be alone. And I'm one of those cats that can handle being alone sometimes. Not a ton. Nobody wants to do that a ton. But sometimes, just the hustle and bustle of life. And doing comedy, that's one of the kind of nice things, is just, a little bit of free time. And I'm writing, so it's a good time to get away and write a little bit. But I stepped right into this dog shit. And I didn't say it, and then I kind of slowed down. I processed it. And I was like, this is not the worst thing. Like, I'm not going to let this get me down. Like, it was more like I knew exactly what to do. I was like, I'm going to go right over to that, like, sandy area. Sandy, and it was like grassy sand, and wipe the first layer off. Whoosh. Did that. And, it was fresh, so it got all in the tread. And then what you got to do. You got to be Operation Doo-Doo Stick, right? That's when I knew I had to go get a doo-doo stick. I had to get a stick that you have to scrape the doo-doo. And this might be grossing you out, but everybody knows what I'm talking about. Sometimes you need to get the doo-doo stick. And I had to get the doo-doo stick, and I had to do full-on surgery, doo-doo surgery on every tread. But I did it. With meditation, I just knew, and it was funky, and it was bad. But I knew I had my clean hotel room, and I just got this gig, and it paid all right, and everything was, everything was just kind of flowing. I hid out most of 2020, 21. I just barely getting out of there, and getting used to this shit. And shit kind of was going well, and it was great. And then it was like at the beach, and I stepped in this dog doo-doo. So I just knew what to do, and I just got it done. And I swear to God. And then there was all this hand sanitizer stuff, and I was getting paper towels from a couple places, and I got it so clean, like it was fresh. Because there was a lot of like back streets with a lot of like little grassy areas with like, I do love me a good public bench. I should do more of those. I have broadcast from these benches in Prospect Park. But the laws have been a little bit shady. Like, I've been hearing about the illegal dispensaries getting busted in, there's just like New York just legalized and all these bodegas popped up because other states have it and the product is getting grown. But some of these places don't have like the general basic license. So the cops are starting to pop them. But it's legal to have it. So it's like, everything's getting figured out. It is a brand new world full of podcasts and legal herb and I really think it goes back to general health and funky ass music. I got this brand new one hitter. I mean, I don't love it because it's, just a basic tube, and that's why I do love it. It's so simple, but it's a little cheesy, and I don't know how good the glass is. I should step up and get a little bit better glass, I think is what I need. But the only thing about it is I have packed the other side that I suck out of because it's like just super straight on simplistic style, which I do dig, and it's easy to clean. My other one broke. I dropped it. That's the only thing about glass and pieces. They do break. And then using plastic. That's what I was thinking about. A good bowl would be like a hybrid between wood and glass. And the stem would be like wood, and then the glass. Because I do love... I've had some wooden bowls that I really loved. I had this little one that was like shaped like a fish, and I had it in San Francisco, and it would fit like right in your pocket. It was the most simplest, and it was carved beautifully, but it would clog up a little bit, but it would still like, you could just almost sift right through it with a paper clip, just like any one hitter. Like, it would just clean out. I think about the glass, I think you can wash it out. I think that's why it's a little bit easier with the resin and stuff like that. But pre-rolls are great, but they do stink up the joint. And, they're great for outside, sometimes inside. I mean, that's the most, like, free and get running, gunning, and probably the most environmentally. And, that's what I do love about being in Jamaica is just rolling up big fat spliffs, and everything's kind of outside and airy and open, so it just works out because it's so hot. But being hot and high is a little bit different than being snow and high and cold and high. But that also works. Like, also, like, that's what's so trippy about it, is like, even the mountain areas like Colorado, there's nothing more stonier than fucking Boulder or, up in those mountains in Colorado with legalized herb, and then like snowboarders and skiing. Skiing, I have to say that I have snowboarded high, and it is one of the best feelings in the world on cannabis. But you have to, I don't know if I would recommend that, because I would recommend it maybe if there wasn't a lot of people. When I did it, there wasn't a lot of people on the slope. And you got to know what you're doing. I think all of it's like knowing what you're doing. But at the same time, nobody knows what they're doing. In terms of, I've just been trying to apply that. Like, I think all this group thought and teams, and I've been thinking of more of everybody has a different perspective and different angle. And I know that because that's what it is. Because there's old people, young people, people from there, people from here, people from over there, people in the past, people in the future. People. That's what I commented to one of the comics, like after we were eating. I think everybody else was having pizza. I had a Caesar salad. Not that I was bumming. It's just late night I like to go. And I always like the Caesar salad. It is a good salad. I know it's not the healthy salad, but it's like kind of middle of the road. That's how I like to roll. Some fresh cracked pepper on anything is actually kind of good. I've found. But some fresh lettuce. Oh, get out of here, kid. Some fresh green. Um, that bowl hit nice. I mean, it actually, I thought it was gonna be too fat, but it just was like this little tiny one. It was like, um, just enough to bring it on home for the Cannabis Coffee Hour. What episode is this? This is 194 or 57? We're up to 5. 195, 195. Stay alive. 1995. That was a big year for me. Yeah. That was when Biggie kind of hit like 94, 95. But then I remember Biggie and Tupac dying, and that was a big deal. I get so sad about all this violence, you know. It's just peace, peace, love, you know. That's where I'm at, man. That's where it's always been at. But you know, it's just like a lot of media, a lot of celebrity, a lot of music. What does it all mean? Ride on, Josephine, baby, ride on. That's just some good rock and roll. The thing about rock and roll is like that, especially that upbeat rock and roll, it's easy to dance to. And everybody's got to dance. That's what I was thinking about. Everybody's got to dance and everybody's got to move. Even the metalheads are dancing in their own way, you know? Even the country, like some people don't like music at all. And I get that. I get that. Some people don't read it all. Some people don't believe the earth is round. Some people do this. Some people do that, man. Who knows? What I know is I do still love cannabis and coffee. I love doing this podcast. I hope to do more out there on the road. I've been thinking how flexible this podcast is. So, on the YouTube, not to be plugalicious, pluglacious, but on the YouTube, there's like different episodes that are live, in terms of video, and then also audio. And I'm gonna put more music in it and more beats, and try to take it outdoors as we all unfold into the future. But I do appreciate you, and thanks for tuning in. The cannabis was good. I didn't have the strain. It was just a pre-roll. That I drained out, and that's how that's how it's a good way. The thing about cannabis is it is expensive out there, so you got to watch it with dispensaries and all that. But that's what I love about doing weed gigs. So if you want to, get at me, go to my website. If you run like a weed facility that it wants to have comedy or the Cannabis Coffee Hour podcast broadcast live, I'm going to step into doing, a lot of live streams with this. That's kind of where my head's going. And I'm excited to bring you all on the ride of a lifetime, the Cannabis Coffee Hour. We're going to get scared and jittery. That's just an old joke of mine, my stand-up, that you could check out Plugtown at Plug at the Pure Uncut Joy, which is my stand-up album, which I recorded in 2019, right before the pandemic. So I think like the new one would be interesting. I just have to go through all my old material, which I have been doing, and it's been fun. And I'm just lining up all this new one, but I don't want to talk about COVID. People want to get out of that. Hopefully, we'll get out of that. But you got to live it in the moment. You got to concentrate on those little circles. Like Yayoi Kusama, the great artist, like she would just zero in on these circles. Like everything was tiny, right down to the, very, and I think that's how you got to approach things, is very slow and like, I don't know. You know what I'm talking about. Just concentrate on the little things and just, I think that's how you can make time slow down. All right. Stay up. Peace. Love. I'm out.
discovering truth is not a question of intelligence. It's intelligence, not intellectual ability or intellectual intelligence at all. Because if it were, then there's so many people with really sharp intellects. They have such skill at comprehending, going to the point. So if that was all it took, there'd be many Buddhas who came to the intellectual artery or vein. It's not like that.